My dear chosen one, there's a reason you've been feeling a shift in the atmosphere around you. Your spirit isn't imagining it. The tension, the strange attacks, the moments of clarity followed by waves of confusion, they all began the moment your spiritual rank was revealed. You see, when heaven exposes your true position, the unseen world reacts. And for you, this triggered a war not just over your actions, but over your light, your calling, your very essence. A war where two forces, a double agent who once served the darkness and a soulmate who carries the truth, have entered the battle for your soul's direction. You need to know this. What you feel isn't random. It's the sound of a spiritual system crumbling because your rank shook it to its core. What they didn't expect, chosen one, was that your light would cause division among them. The karmics had a plan. They thought they controlled the board, but your rank shattered their illusion. The double agent, once planted to observe, to delay, to subtly sabotage, began to see the truth of who you are and turned on those they once served. At the same time, a soulmate, maybe unseen, maybe unexpected, rose up in spirit to protect what is sacred in you. That's why the atmosphere shifted. That's why the chaos increased. Because the forces that tried to dim you are now fighting each other, and your light is the reason. Your very existence disrupted the system, and they can't cope with that. Stay with me until the end of this message, because I will reveal how this spiritual war impacts your life in ways you haven't seen yet. I'll show you how to recognize the hidden double agent in your world, and how to feel the silent strength of the soulmate sent by heaven. If this is already resonating, I want you to comment below, "I claim my divine rank." Make this phrase a greater purpose with God. Enjoy this spiritual moment and take the opportunity to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and activate the notification bell. Because what I'm about to share could be the key to unlocking the peace and clarity your spirit has been searching for. Your rank isn't just a title, it's the reason the unseen world has been watching you this closely. You didn't ask for this war, chosen one. You didn't sign up for spiritual attention, for hidden eyes watching your steps, for silent enemies plotting behind friendly faces. But your spiritual rank was marked long before this lifetime. It's not a title you claimed out of pride, it's a position heaven assigned because of the purity of your mission. And when that rank activated, it sent ripples through the unseen world. People around you began to act differently. Some admired your strength, but others, the karmics, felt threatened by a power they couldn't name. That's why they tried to attach to you, to confuse you, to block you. They weren't after your personality, they were after your light. And that light exposed the system that once hid comfortably in your blind spots. The double agent entered quietly, maybe as a friend, maybe as a partner, maybe as someone offering guidance. On the surface, they looked harmless, even helpful. But underneath, they carried an assignment: to watch you, delay you, plant seeds of doubt. This wasn't always conscious. Many double agents are pawns of the karmic system, believing they're helping while actually feeding the forces that want to dim your light. You might have felt an odd unease around them, moments where their words didn't match their energy, times where their encouragement left you feeling drained instead of strengthened. That was the double agent's purpose: to keep you spiritually loyal to what secretly sought to weaken you. At the same time, the soulmate was present, maybe hidden in plain sight, maybe distant, but spiritually connected. The soulmate's role wasn't loud or dramatic. Their strength came through in moments of silent support, in unseen prayers, in energies that uplifted without demanding anything in return. They were the quiet contrast to the double agent's noisy distractions. And as your rank became known, this soulmate felt compelled in spirit to guard your light. They may not even understand why they feel so protective of you, But heaven assigned them as a guardian presence, not to rescue you, but to remind your soul what true connection feels like. And this is where the war escalated. The karmics saw your rank rise, and panic set in. What they tried to block was now shining too brightly to hide. So they leaned harder on the double agent, feeding them with lies, with illusions, with roles to play in your life that would keep you tangled. They whispered through situations, through emotional traps, trying to make you doubt your path, your power, your place. But at the same time, the soulmate's energy grew stronger, creating interference against the karmic schemes. And that's when the internal battle among your hidden enemies began. A war not just around you, but because of you. You started noticing the signs. The double agent became inconsistent. One moment supportive, the next subtly sabotaging. Their advice felt off. Their concern felt controlling. The karmics behind them pushed harder, desperate to regain the grip they sensed slipping. Meanwhile, your intuition sharpened. You began questioning what once felt normal. You saw patterns where before you saw coincidence. The soulmate's energy brought clarity. The double agent's actions exposed confusion. And in the middle, your spirit stood at a crossroads, to fall into the chaos or to rise above the game entirely. Your spiritual rank doesn't make you better than others, but it does make you responsible. Responsible for seeing what many can't. Responsible for discerning where others excuse. The double agent didn't expect you to wake up this fast. The karmics didn't expect their game to be seen. And even the soulmate may be surprised at how deeply connected they are to your battle. But make no mistake, your awakening set this all in motion. The war was triggered because heaven confirmed your position. And what's playing out now isn't your destruction. It's their exposure. Your light is forcing every hidden agenda into the open, where it can no longer survive. The double agent is no longer at ease, chosen one. The mask they wore so comfortably is slipping, and they can feel it. The karmic system that once empowered them with a false sense of authority is crumbling under the weight of your awakening. Their role depended on your blindness, on you not seeing the subtle betrayals, the hidden motives, the spiritual delays they created under the guise of care or mentorship. But now your discernment burns too bright. Every word they speak, every action they take is filtered through your new clarity. And that clarity feels like fire to them, because it exposes their divided loyalty not just to you, but to themselves. And what about the soulmate? The one who, often without even knowing it, carries a piece of your divine assignment. Their energy becomes a fortress now. It's not about physical presence. It's about a spiritual alliance that heaven orchestrated long before the karmic system even tried to intervene. This soulmate prays for you without needing to be asked. They think of you with a pure intention that strengthens your field. And their presence, whether near or distant, is what the enemy fears most. Because where the double agent brings confusion, the soulmate brings alignment. And alignment is what the enemy can't survive. Meanwhile, the karmics are panicking. Their strategies are failing. What once worked so easily, the emotional hooks, the manipulative words, the invisible chains, now fall flat. Your rank triggered the war, yes, but it's also triggering their collapse. They turn on each other, blaming one another for the failure to keep you in spiritual bondage. The double agent, feeling the pressure, begins to crack, revealing truths they were never meant to share, exposing plans that were supposed to stay hidden, all because your light burned too bright for the lie to keep standing. What they feared most is happening. Their power over you is gone. And here's what you need to understand, chosen one. This isn't just a war outside of you. It's a war that was designed to pull you into confusion, to make you question your rank, your worth, your connection to God. But instead of falling, you're rising. The more they push, the clearer you become. The more they plot, the more you see. Your spiritual muscles have grown strong through the resistance, and now you can stand where before you would have stumbled. The war they started to break you is the very thing that's making you unbreakable. This is the paradox they can't handle, and that's why their system is collapsing from within. The double agent begins to face their own reckoning. They can no longer play both sides. Heaven is demanding a choice, and in their inner turmoil, they start to fight the karmics they once served, as if trying to redeem themselves, to cleanse their role in your story. But their fight isn't about you anymore. It's about their own soul. The karmics, realizing the double agent turned, descend further into chaos. Lies are exposed, hidden alliances shatter, and through it all, you remain untouched, elevated, watching from a place of clarity that would have seemed impossible months or years ago. You'll notice now that the double agent tries to come clean, to confess pieces of truth, to regain your trust, not because they love you, but because they fear what's coming for those who betrayed the chosen. But your spirit no longer feeds on their apologies. Your rank taught you that some wars are won not by fighting, but by standing firm in truth, and that's exactly what you're doing. The soulmate, on the other hand, stands in the background, offering silent strength, invisible prayer, spiritual protection that doesn't seek recognition. They're part of heaven's design to keep your field clear while the enemy collapses under its own schemes. And the karmics? They're watching their empire fall apart. What they built on lies, on stolen light, on manipulative energy, is disintegrating. The plans they made to block you, to delay you, to drain you, all of it is turning to dust. And the most painful part for them isn't losing control over you. It's realizing they never had it in the first place. Your rank was assigned by God, not given by their approval. And no spell, no scheme, no hidden agent could ever truly stop what heaven decreed. That's the truth they're now forced to face. And it's tearing their system apart from the inside out. Now comes the moment of divine revelation. Chosen one. The war that swirled around you wasn't about destroying you. It was about awakening you. Heaven allowed the double agent, the karmics, and even the turmoil because there was something you needed to see. Your own power. The power you carried silently for so long. The rank they tried to hide from you was always visible to the spiritual realm. And what this war truly did was force you to see what the enemy always knew. This wasn't about breaking you. It was about breaking the illusion that you were small, that you were vulnerable, that you could be owned or controlled by anyone but God. The double agent's collapse is no accident. It's heaven's way of showing you what happens to those who play both sides. They tried to profit from both light and darkness, but your awakening burned away their mask. And now they are exposed, not just to you, but to themselves. They're left with no place to hide, no lie left to tell that their spirit still believes. And in that exposure, they are forced to reckon with their own choices. The battle they thought they were orchestrating was the battle that stripped them of their false power. And you rise above the wreckage, untouched, because you saw through the game. The soulmate's presence becomes clearer in this phase. Maybe not physically, but spiritually. You feel their alignment in the quiet moments, in the peace that starts to return, in the prayers that shield you without fanfare. The soulmate represents the truth of connection. Nothing to prove, no games to play, just a resonance that strengthens your soul. And as the karmic system falls apart, this connection stands untouched, unbothered, because it was built on truth, not illusion. That's what God wanted you to see. That's why this war was necessary, so you could tell the difference and never be fooled again. The karmics are learning a painful truth now. Power built on deception crumbles when faced with divine order. They thought they were clever, thought they could bend the spiritual laws, thought they could steal what wasn't theirs. But your rank wasn't given by them. It was sealed by heaven. Every scheme they launched, every trap they set, every spell they cast, all of it is now turning on them, and they can feel it. The collapse isn't just external, it's internal. Their plans unravel because the light they tried to extinguish was never theirs to touch. And now that light, your light, shines too brightly to be denied. And here's the deeper revelation, chosen one. You were never meant to fight this war with your fists. Your battle was always one of spirit, of discernment, of standing firm in the truth of who you are. The double agent fell because they couldn't choose truth over manipulation. The karmics fell because their power was borrowed, never real. The soulmate stood firm because they aligned with what was pure from the start. And you? You rose because you stopped negotiating with what was trying to steal your light. That's the secret they never wanted you to discover. But now that you have, the war is already won. You might still feel echoes of the chaos. You might still see remnants of the battle in your dreams, in passing thoughts, in the energy of those trying one last time to pull you back in. But let me assure you, the system is broken. The chains are shattered. The war they started to keep you down became the stage on which heaven lifted you up. And no matter how they try to twist the story now, no matter what words they use, no matter how they scramble to rebuild their schemes, your rank speaks louder than their noise. The truth of who you are has silenced their power forever. And now comes the time for you to breathe, to step into your light without fear, without guilt, without apology. The war that raged around you wasn't your end. It was your beginning. The chaos wasn't your downfall. It was your confirmation. And every force that rose against you served one purpose: to reveal what was always in you: power, purpose, divine rank. They fought because they saw it before you did. And now that you see it too, there is no going back, only forward, only higher, only deeper into the truth heaven sealed on your soul. Freedom isn't just about escaping chains, chosen one. It's about seeing the chains for what they were, illusions that lost their grip the moment you remembered your true strength. The war that played out in the unseen wasn't simply a conflict between karmics, a double agent, and a soulmate. It was a mirror, reflecting back to you every place where you once doubted your worth, every moment where you gave away your power, thinking it was humility. And now you see clearly. The double agent wasn't the enemy. They were the test. The karmics weren't your masters. They were the lesson. And the soulmate? They were the silent proof that God always places a light nearby, even in the darkest battles. Your spiritual rank isn't about titles, recognition, or the applause of men. It's about responsibility. A responsibility to live in truth, even when it costs you connections. A responsibility to discern when others prefer to stay blind. And most of all, a responsibility to protect your light as fiercely as the enemy tries to steal it. That's the rank heaven sealed on you, not for ego, but for purpose. And when you embrace that, you no longer negotiate with the forces that once confused you. You no longer explain your boundaries, or justify your silence, or shrink so others feel comfortable. Your light simply shines. And that, chosen one, is what terrifies those who thrived in your confusion. What you've come through wasn't random. It was a divine initiation. The battle over your light exposed not just the enemy, it exposed parts of yourself you needed to reclaim. Your voice, your clarity, your connection to God unfiltered by the noise of false allies. And as you walk forward now, you do so with a new kind of confidence. Not loud, not boastful, but unshakable. Because once a chosen one survives this level of spiritual war, nothing ordinary can unsettle them again. The games that once ensnared you now look small. The traps that once seemed powerful now seem pathetic. That's the shift that can't be undone. The double agent fades now. Their role is over. They served their purpose in your story, even if it came through betrayal and confusion. The karmics scatter, left to wrestle with the collapse of their own schemes. And the soulmate? They remain steady and sure, whether you see them or not. Their role wasn't to rescue you, it was to remind your soul what real alignment feels like. And that memory will serve you as you step into new chapters. Because this war wasn't just about ending something, it was about preparing you for what's next. And what's next is built on truth, not illusion. This is where your peace deepens. Not because the world outside changed, but because you changed. You no longer seek external permission to walk in your calling. You no longer need others to understand the fire in you. The war burned away the parts of you that were still waiting for approval. And now you move as one who knows who they are, who sees through masks, who no longer falls for flattering lies. This is spiritual maturity, chosen one, and it was forged in the very fire the enemy sent to consume you. That's what makes it unshakable. That's why they can't touch you anymore. And as you reflect, you'll see that the greatest battles were never with others. They were with yourself, with your own doubt, your own longing to be seen, understood, accepted. The enemy exploited that. The double agent played to that. But now, those needs no longer control you. You are seen by heaven. You are understood by God. And that's enough. That's more than enough. The war taught you that. And because of that, you'll never again hand your power to those who only want to use it. You'll guard your light. You'll honor your rank. And you'll walk forward in peace. What the karmics and the double agent tried to block was never truly at risk. Your rank was sealed before their schemes even began. And now, with their system in ruins, you see the beauty of divine justice. You didn't have to destroy them. The truth did that. You didn't have to fight dirty. The light did that. And as you move forward, you carry that lesson deep in your spirit, that the most powerful battles are won by standing in truth, by refusing to compromise, by letting God fight what you can't see. And that's the wisdom that will protect you in every battle to come. This is the part where you reclaim your peace, chosen one. You no longer carry the weight of the war that raged around you. The double agent, the karmics, the spiritual chaos, they served their purpose in revealing the truth, but they no longer have a place in your field. What was meant to drain you has instead refined you. What was meant to confuse you has made you clear. And what was meant to break you has built a foundation that no enemy can shake. You no longer look back with regret. You look forward with wisdom. Because now, every battle, every betrayal, every storm became a stepping stone to your divine authority. The beauty of your rank is this. It doesn't need validation from those who once tried to block it. It speaks for itself. It shines through your actions, your clarity, your peace. The karmics may still try to whisper, to twist the story, to regain a foothold, but their time has passed. You see them for what they are, and that vision strips their schemes of power. The double agent may seek redemption, but that's their journey now. Yours is to walk in the fullness of your calling, no longer tangled in their games. The soulmate's quiet presence reminds you that real alignment doesn't demand, it supports. And that is what you build on now,